I think so.
Are we live?
We are. We are live. Uh, without music, but I don't care all that much. Hi everyone. This is Vincent.
Hi.
Uh, we used to work together, right?
Yes.
At Segica,
Yes.
in the same team,
Yeah, for a little while.
and it was magical indeed. I learned a bunch of cool stuff from you. I remember. And now,
Did you? What did you learn?
oh my god, yeah, so much. A bunch of stuff about DDD. I remember
Really?
this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and just how to be a good programmer in general, I think. I think you also introduced me to Socrates.
That might have been. I think I'm.
Because before I never heard
Yeah.
of it.
So I also by chance discovered it. By by luck, how do you say? Through the yearly coach retreats.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
With Erik.
with Erik, yeah. So I think, well, I presume that some people of Segeka went there earlier, like Ilse or Wim maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because they also participated in the XP community way back.
Right.
Um, but I just happened upon to find it, meetup or I don't know,
Yeah.
10 years, no, not 10 years back, but long years back.
Yeah.
And I just went there. I remember it was in Mechelen. I don't
Yeah.
remember which company it was at. I knew no one. I was too late. I couldn't enter the building because I couldn't reach anyone. I was almost going back.
Oh, shit.
And then in the end, someone reached out. I was walking back to my car in the parking lot because I couldn't enter the building.
Right.
And then someone called me back, I think, and I said, "Yeah, please come in, come in."
Then you managed to get in.
Yeah, so and then yeah, I met Erik Talboom, that is. And for a few years, I just did the coach retreats. I
Right.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think they did the conference, Socrates Belgium conference, for the first year, 3 years, 4 years back.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty recent actually. Then.
Yes.
I also only started going 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think you already went the second year, no, or the third year.
No, it has to be the third year then
Yeah,
if it's
be.
4 years ago. Yeah. Holy shit. And here we are, baby!
Keeping the dream alive.
Sweet. No, I was really excited when you had so we got the idea because uh, we also host the Lean Coffee in Leuven, and we were like about to leave. It was
more like
already
lean beer.
Yeah, and also it was really past the end time basically, or because we stop it, so it's from 7 to 9. If you're interested, just register on the meetup and then come. 9 it was over, and then I think we were there until 10:30 or something, and then we started to leave, and then you were like, oh hey, someone's still in here, and it was very impromptu, like hey, when are we gonna barbecue?
Yeah.
That was the first thing, and then you're like, I don't have anything to do this Sunday. I was like, me neither.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do barbecue. Or maybe we can do live coding because I tend to live code on Sundays. Yeah, so I was very happy. And now we are at your place as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So interruptions by kitten might occur.
Might occur, yeah. Let's take advantage of that. Cool. Right, so I don't think I've told you anything about what I'm doing on the live stream. Maybe you were able to distinguish from watching a couple of minutes or something.
Something about challenges and I think skiing and alcohol maybe.
Yeah. This is all part of. You're completely correct.
I like most of those things.
So the story is 2 years ago we went to Snowcase. We went along with Snowcase, I should say, which is a Studio Brussels organized ski trip basically. First year I went was 2 years ago. It was in Val Thorens. This year we went there again. The first year I went was the best vacation I ever had in my entire life. And it was partly because there was alcohol involved, but also because it's snowboarding. I really love snowboarding. There were really great bands supplied by City Brussels, and the people that I went with, they're awesome people. And then two of them, they dreamt up this competition that we were going to do during Snowcase, and it really made. I think for me, it really made the vacation the best vacation of my life. Why is it? Because there were challenges. So that's the idea of the competition. Is there's a bunch of challenges that you get to do. Like everyone of the group gets to do these challenges, and then if you can claim one of the challenges, then you gain points for those for doing that challenge. And then at the end of the vacation or the holiday, you tally all of the score basically, and then whoever has the most points wins. But so everyone wants to compete a little bit, if only a little bit, but also it helps that the challenges are really fun. And one of the challenges was um, have have yourself carried by a crowd of people. So do crowd surfing. Take a picture with a famous person because Studio Brussels has a bunch of famous people there, and stuff like that. And it really pushed me to extend my limits, and this really made it the best holiday ever.
Alright.
But last year, or so this year, sorry, um, everyone was like lukewarm to the idea of doing it again. Like no one really wanted to take ownership of doing or hosting the competition and doing all of the administrative stuff. So I thought to myself, this is so sad actually that we didn't do it, and I'm going to lower this threshold by making a web application. uh,
Of course.
of course, and I'm
So
gonna
we do, yeah, that's what we do.
and I'm gonna live code it. That's what I was thinking. And then the other goal, and I think it's in the README as well, is
Learn new stuff.
learn new stuff about Kotlin and Vue or whatever. Um, so whenever I'm stuck at something, it's gonna be fine because I will be learning new stuff. Like last week, it was my first experience trying out Vuex, which is like the Redux thing for Vue, and I thought at some point I was like, I don't I don't need Vuex right now. I don't need it, but it's fun to learn about it. So that's why I chose to do it. And then the other thing I'm trying to prove to myself is this thing, or basically not over designing in general, which I've got a couple of highlights already that I I captured myself over designing and it biting me in the ass as well. So that's fun. Yeah. So right now architecture is really simple. We've got one object. I mean two objects I think.
One needs more than one object. I see plenty of objects there though.
Well, yeah, but so important
Classes
ones.
anyway.
It's competition and then challenge. And challenge and both challenge and competition, they both are used in the in the in exposing through the REST API, and it's exactly the same object that we're persisting in a database. So there's no distinction there. It's just input output done, and the only thing in between is like a REST controller. So that's what you need to consider architecture wise, let's say. Okay. And then some design snuck into my objects anyway. For example, some validation that says that okay, you don't need to, you shouldn't have an ending before a start date. And at some point, there was also another validation that said, damn it, I forget what it was. Like for example, this is already over designed without a start date or without an end date because the UI doesn't allow you to do that anyway. So I mean, it's in my object, but it's completely not used at all. So that's one of those things.
Cool. So throw it out.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. further.
There's one thing
Oh boy.
that we can do because we're together now,
Yeah.
and is poking each other.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, you're right. Uh, yeah. So, do we want to go over stuff like this and like
Yeah,
a
not
sort of
necessarily.
code redo? Because I mean, it's interesting to me in any case, right? So we could do that, or we could continue working where I left off last week.
I feel like it's gonna be more useful to code review from the point of view of implementing new stuff.
Okay.
Like find out where it
Yeah.
hurts you. If
Okay.
it doesn't hurt, then it's not a problem at the moment.
Okay, nice.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely is not hurting me. It hurt me at a certain point when I tried to test domain validation going back to the front end, and then I couldn't reproduce any mistake because the front end, the component itself didn't allow me to fill in null, for example. So I was like, ah, shit, I wrote this stuff for nothing.
But
There-
you could test that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and maybe that's a good.
That's one of the things that you should probably test in isolation.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
Because you want those things to move independently.
That's another
So-
important part that you just mentioned. So the way I've set up my tests is I've got unit tests for most stuff. I've got persistence tests basically, and then I've got a separate class of tests, which is this scenario test, which really just says, for example, challenges should get copied when adding to a competition. So I don't want, whenever I create a competition, I select the challenges from a list of challenges. And I don't want when someone else modifies the challenge, that the challenge of that competition also gets modified. So that's why I just copy them. And that's the scenario to do that. Which is this one? What's this one? Competition that ends up having an already existing competition ID should not be created. Okay, right. That was a bug that I noticed last time. So that's another thing. Like, I always keep on talking in we, but I'm the only maintainer. Yeah, that's another thing I thought about before coming here. I was like, look, this is the first time I actually have to explain all of this stuff to someone to collaborate with, and I don't have any diagrams. I've got nothing basically. I just have tests, and that's it.
Okay.
And then
Isn't that interesting?
What is interesting that
Like see what happens now.
yeah. But it's also a good thing to do for
Yeah, of
yourself,
course.
but yeah, so I haven't done that yet. The other thing I wanted to still show is that I'm logging all of the issues on GitHub itself. So we've got issues here, and then there's a project as well which lists a bunch of stuff. So it's only last week, I think, that I started adding more features, let's say, because before it was always like, okay, here's a bunch of features that I need to do, but now it's more about some more features.
Seeing mostly like technical.
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So indeed, so I implemented some main features like creating a challenge and a competition, attaching them to each other, let's say, and then okay, here's a bunch of technical stuff that we still need to set up as well. But yeah, I sort of got tired of doing all the technical stuff, and I wanted to do some more features again, which is why I started doing this one. So this is where we are right now, and we need to mark a challenge. Maybe first let's do a demo of the stuff I already have.
Let's see it working.
Yeah. So we've got a Spring Boot application which we can run like
working
that.
Software over comprehensive documentation.
Hey.
I haven't seen any working software yet.
Good point. We'll run like this. Oh boy. Yeah.
Check working software.
So I'll need
All
my
the Dockers.
all the Dockers, just a database though. I have no plan on where to host this yet, so but it's Dockerized, so who cares, huh? Mm.
So the plan is front end as mobile phone thing
Yeah,
or
yeah. So that's another thing I'm trying to focus on is yeah, oh boy. So
oh yeah.
yeah, you can see it in the
I haven't told you
CI
this problem,
build.
so I'll use Hibernate.
Yeah.
Now I have two problems.
But it's come in handy. But and also interesting to learn Kotlin and Hibernate and all
Mm.
that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the build is
indeed.
failing, so this is why I won't be able to demo anything. Unless we go back to a previous version, which
How fast can we fix it?
yeah, let's find out. Let's
We've
find
been,
out
we've been
what
red for 7 days now. Okay.
yeah, it
That's kind of
seems
like the average project, I suppose.
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, I haven't touched it in a week, so this makes sense. What is going off? Fucking hell. So this is lint stuff. I don't care all that much about lint stuff.
Illegal
Ah yeah, okay.
tests.
So now I do have to tell you some context.
So it's Spring startup.
Well,
Or what was going on
in my
there? Nothing exception.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's like being so,
Hibernate,
some
yeah.
shit is going wrong, and
Hibernate
we'll
nuggets.
find out what. But I have actual failing tests somewhere. If only, if only there was a way to know what I was working on right now in this thing. I think it's this one. I should probably assign it to me so that I know this is the one I'm working on right now. Let's see. Click on a challenge from a competition's challenges. Type in a name and press submit. Right. So we've got a competition. We've got challenges of that competition. So we can both list the competition and then the challenges of it. And then the idea is there's no visual cue or anything that's the way you should enter or should mark that someone has completed the challenge, but it's just clicking on something right now, and I wanted to have the feature implemented basically, and then think about front end a little bit later. So when you click on a challenge of a competition, very important, then you you are directed to a screen where you can fill in a person's name. And I think that's about it, right? Yeah, you just type in a name and then you press submit. And when you do that, that competitor, so it's very implicit because it's just a name, should get the points that belong to that challenge. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And what I already did was I am able to navigate to a complete challenge page. There's a REST API already that gets the challenge ID that belongs to a certain competition, and the thing you get from it is just a name. But so my idea for competitors, and this is going back to thinking about why I'm building this project in the first place, is I really want a very, very low threshold. So I don't want any user registration basically. I just want, you know, kitty split maybe?
Yeah.
You just list names, right? And now, since you listed names, those are the people that are supposed to be paying for stuff together.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
Right.
So when we enter a new name, the competitor needs to get made. It needs to get attached to the competition, and he should be awarded the points for the challenge that he just completed.
Yeah.
So those are three things that we need to do in one single call. What do you think about that? Should we split it up in multiple calls maybe, or because I think the tests that I have right now.
Well, the one thing that I would be thinking, like the reasons for me to split or keep separate are transactional consistency.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But like
so what are the ways that this could fail in the business logic
yeah,
either way, right?
exactly, yeah.
Um,
How can
so the thing is, either this name already exists or it doesn't. If it already exists, then you have it covered because you just attach the existing competitor to the challenge. Attach is like a bad word, but or the competitor doesn't exist yet, and then you just create it.
yeah, indeed, yeah. But we could even if the name is the same, it could be a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So
How? I mean, yes, of course.
because
That makes total sense in
yeah,
the world.
yeah,
But how are you gonna do it in your application?
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also like there.
People just need to enter nicknames, right? I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
It's gonna be a real world problem and not just
yeah, I
an
mean,
app
but
problem.
like you want I think that's also a problem for later. Like I don't want to block entry when two people are called Vincent, for example. Yeah, allee. You should just be able to remove one of the Vincents because it should become pretty clear pretty early as well. Like
Yeah, definitely.
so yeah, and then yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Cool.
think about that. So that's no problem. I think to I mean player names should be able to be duplicated for me. That's
Well,
not a real issue.
wait. Can you clarify that statement?
So the application shouldn't block adding two Vincents to a competition. It should be visible enough that the user has made a mistake. Because you won't be able to distinguish it anyway, and then you just delete one of the Vincents as an admin or whatever, and then.
But I don't get like how do these names or competitors get created? It is by completing a challenge.
That's right now that's the case. Yeah, we could not.
So
do
there's
that,
no way to have twice the same.
Yeah.
Person then.
In this challenge completion screen, there definitely is not. No.
Yeah.
But in another screen, there might be.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah. So, allez. For now, I think having just let's say just a simple text field is fine for the feature that I want implemented. But in the end, I think it should be a list, right? Like select whoever completed this challenge, something like that, from a pre-made list.
Like the UI I would think about this is you would have some sort of type ahead, right? You start typing in. You have the people are already entered in this competition.
Yeah.
But you can always add just new people if someone arrives a day later or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like a very low friction way of doing this.
Nice, sounds great actually. Let's see. Yeah, so it seems that I did make some tests that fail for the right reason because we expect these things. But all of the other tests and our application are broken now because of bean stuff could not determine type for list. Yeah, because competitors doesn't have a table yet.
Okay.
I guess. Now, what do I want to fix first? This or
I would do
the loading problem?
The other thing, I think, personally.
Yeah. because then.
For me, that is like you build your API on top of.
Mm.
Like you can do both. It doesn't really matter too much, but
Let's.
I would feel safer if Spring starts up than
Yeah, me too.
personally.
Me too. Let's just do this one then. Just run it, and then we'll try and fix the problem. Um, yeah, so I don't know how much experience you have with Kotlin, but I hope you've got more than me.
I highly doubt it.
Shit.
I have one Advent of Code experience, I think,
Oh yeah, okay.
which means like 6 challenges because.
Right.
Oh, look, there's someone.
Oh, hey man, what's up? Uh, maybe we can. Oh.
Do we can?
Yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, no, we should see like pop-ups or whatever, like whenever someone follows.
Okay.
Hey, welcome, welcome to
Hello.
hanging out. If you've got any questions, just please ask, and then we'll see if we can answer
Yes.
them. Right. So the competitors field on a competition is non-existing. So we'll go to competition. This thing here should also have total points question mark. So welcome to my brain. Alright, so I'll need something like this now. So that's the annoying part when you use the same object for both persisting stuff and putting it in the front end. I mean, using it in your REST API, right?
In that you have both underscore private variables, or what do you
No,
mean?
well, no.
What was the annoying point?
The annoying point is that this class is both used to persist stuff and to expose through
Yeah, so
my
your
REST
persistence
API.
does break when you are. Yeah, okay.
Everything actually breaks.
Yeah.
But it forces you
Well,
to work from your model though, so I mean there's that.
I mean, if you split it out, it still wouldn't work. So
Oh
until you
damn.
do everything.
Fuck my life. So wait, hang on. Ah yeah, of course there's no way for Hibernate to be able to persist a list of competitors without making a relation. And now my type alias is not enough anymore. Oh damn, this.
Wait. Talk me through this.
Okay, so this code breaks. Why is that? Because when Hibernate tries to persist a competition,
Mm-hmm.
it will also try and persist the list of competitors. So I'm just right now thinking of a different quick fix. So this is the problem. Hibernate doesn't know how to persist a list of competitors in one single table,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's why it's breaking right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what I could, and then the other thing that's weird, like if I were to fix it properly, like for example challenges, I need to make a relation to competitors, just like this. So what I would do is it should look like this, and then competitor should be an entity, a Hibernate entity, but right now it's a type alias for competitor name, and that's just this. Now, this brings along a lot of stuff all in one go because I'll need to create a competitor table. It needs to have a name and stuff like that. And
But it brings along a lot of design questions too.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Is a competitor an entity or not?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, but okay, that question I think is fine. But right now we are just trying to fix the Hibernate problem, right? So we could make this transient somehow, and then Hibernate will ignore it or something. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Um,
Is that a thing?
is that even a
even?
thing in Kotlin?
Yeah. I guess it's not. So we could look up on how to build transient or to mark something as transient. Or what we could do is just accept that we're gonna have to do this.
Mm.
Preference?
Yeah, I feel like working through it. I mean,
It's gonna be the most interesting thing.
yeah, it's gonna be needed anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, it's gonna be read for a
Yeah.
while longer, but
Yeah. Okay, nice. So let's not have this be a type alias then, I guess. But then
so the problem. How did you implement the challenge? That's not a data class then, or how do I?
uh, that's also gonna be an entity because it's saved, but it is a data class though.
Okay. So what we need to do is create tables.
Yeah. And
That's it.
yeah, and that's it. I think yeah.
It should be fine, right?
But then the competitor name, that thing, it should just be renamed to competitor, I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what you wanted to do, I suppose,
Yeah.
is postpone a decision of a competitor right now can just be a competitor name,
Yeah.
but because Hibernate is cutting through all those design layers,
Yeah.
it's a bit of an issue.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah. Allee, it's not Hibernate's fault, of course. Eh?
It always is Hibernate.
Yeah, I chose to depend on it, so it's my fault, right? I could have designed it in a more loosely coupled way, and
So
then
I would think that, I mean, yeah, indeed, the decision by having all these classes have the responsibility for from the REST API down to the database.
yeah,
It's not weird that your tests are breaking altogether if one thing is wrong. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. You just have to be aware that you can't have feedback on a smaller thing
yeah.
in the meantime.
So
But okay.
what do we do then? Do we want to? Yeah, because actually,
Yeah.
let's first check where this is used because I think it
Yeah.
might.
So the other
become
thing that I was thinking is
important.
like this is interesting that you have this like I want to postpone a decision of what exactly my competitor looks like,
Yeah,
but now you have to make the decision
yeah,
at the time that you actually not really want to think about it.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, but that's the annoying part.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, the annoying, interesting.
Yeah. But the thing I want to keep is, and that's why I think I made it a type alias, is I really want to not couple this thing to the actual database entity. Because
Shouldn't
this,
that be instead of competitor name? Shouldn't that be competitor ID or something?
yeah, no, because completing a challenge, remember, you can just enter a name.
Ah, yeah.
So right now we don't even have
Sorry.
an
Yeah,
ID,
yeah.
but
Makes
like
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
eventually
Yeah.
with the type ahead thing it should
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
But for now I don't think
No.
it
Yeah,
should.
no,
So
competitor name.
let's keep those separate from each other, but then also duplicate it right now, and then it should just be a competitor.
Mm.
There we go. And now it is the same. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, but because right now what I need is this to be an entity. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, this kind of entity, I think. And it's complaining because there's already a competitor declaration, namely in competition itself.
Oh yeah.
Should be gone.
So it's nice.
And then
Probably keep track of that.
this should go there as well, I think.
There's no reason
Oh.
to.
My bad. Let's do that. Nice. And then we'll go back to competition, and this is working with competitors still, which is fine. So now we need to make sure that there's a table
Mm.
for the competitors. So let's create that. Create competitor table. Sure, add it. And then what should that thing look like? It should have an ID, I guess, right? It should also have this, and then it's gonna have total points, but we don't know that yet. So we'll clear those, and then this is it. Seeing this made me realize that we don't have a UUID in here just yet. So create that. So the UUID. that's it, I think.
Yep.
Does stuff compile?
Is oh yeah, UUID. Okay.
Yeah, and then also I don't think I need to specify the table name
So
because
does Kotlin autofill the UUID or how does that?
it does not. Good point.
Okay.
This should be UUID dot random. So that's as a default. So whenever you create a competitor,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, yeah, and it needs to be.
Well, I suppose that Hibernate
And
is
this
able to throw that away, or to how do you say instantiate the proper classes
yeah.
objects.
Wait.
Okay, so that's the test side of things. Let's do breaking
Yeah.
snarf.
Because now it's expecting. Yeah. Because
Competitors are so they're entities now, and
yeah,
they need
and
IDs.
well, it used to be a type alias,
Mm.
and it is looking for a competitor, but it found a competitor name because this is the thing that we passed. So what we're gonna do is, oh boy, is we're gonna have to create a competitor with an ID that I don't care about, but which does have the name snarf. Correct?
How is your test going to?
Yeah.
This
How is it gonna ignore
the ID.
the ID? Yeah. Yeah, what we could do is not use contains exactly, but we could do comparing using comparator for which one is it? Ignoring fields, and then you'll just go like this.
Huh.
Now, it doesn't take into account the ID, and I think that's what's fine for me. Will it break though, whenever we change the implementation? Or whenever ID becomes important somehow? Yeah, then we'll definitely need to change it. So I'm thinking about the future case
Mm.
when we'll pass an ID of an existing competitor to this thing, but then the API will change, and this is gonna have to change as well, this test, right? And then we'll change it then. So even if it
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
yeah, sorry. So I am worried if this is a good test,
Mm.
basically.
Mm.
And the way I'm trying to think whether or not it is just by thinking, will it break whenever the design changes? And we already know that the design is gonna change because at some point with the type ahead stuff, we'll pass along an ID instead of a name, I think.
Is that so?
Yeah, we might.
Yeah.
But in that case, in any case, we'll need
So
to
your
change.
entire API changes at
Yeah,
that moment.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So, and then also, this is the unit test that verifies its behavior.
Mm.
So we'll enter in this test anyway, and then. Okay, nice.
There's the snarf variable 9236. That's not used, I think now.
1236.
That one. Oh yeah, it's used.
Yeah,
That's
but we
snarf
could
to
we
JSON.
could inline it. This is more important to make sure that that is exactly the same as this. I'm not sure what your preference is for that.
How does this get converted to JSON?
Where?
Like you snarf to JSON.
Yeah.
Um,
You mean what is
just,
this thing?
is this just well yeah, okay, I can imagine. Great. But like what fields are how's it represented?
Okay. We just got feedback from one of our viewers, but he's not typing in the Twitch chat, and he says that we're difficult to understand
Shit.
and the sound quality is not great, but mainly a little bit too quiet. Yeah.
Turn up your volume.
Turn up your. My it's
Need to fix.
we're looking at the levels and we can
Yeah.
indeed see that it's not loud enough. So either we start screaming like this, and then we might be understandable. Yeah, and I was looking for a game. Ah, kitty, a kitty, ah. Uh, yeah, but that's not interesting to do, really.
Well,
I don't know how. I
should-
don't know how. I just don't know how.
Wait.
The other alternative we had in mind was your volume is maxed out.
Okay.
Yeah, bit quiet. Okay, thanks for the feedback,
Yeah.
Versatile.
How are we gonna? You fix it, boy.
Okay,
Yeah, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal indeed. Uh,
Yeah, we were thinking of solutions with headsets, both of us.
Yeah.
And we could even play music then.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal to talking to each other.
yeah, indeed.
We just need a better microphone. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
But we don't have one.
I don't have one, no. I mean, I have a good mic, but it's like a headset personal mic. You know, it's a personal mic. It's not one that picks up.
Yeah.
What we could do is try and we
So we need
wait,
to steal the Jabra
hang
from work next
hang
time.
on, hang on.
Do it.
What we
No else.
could do, I haven't done this ever, so we're gonna live change the input mic. I hope stuff will still work. So
That's not
we're
how
gonna
it's gonna
switch
be.
to the built-in mic. So this is gonna
Let
be
us,
the mic.
let us know because I'm gonna hypothesize it's gonna be worse.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if the bar goes in the red.
Pretty well. Oh, it does work.
It does work, yeah, and we can see that the levels are definitely changing.
Oh. But is it better though?
It might be
quality better.
It might be too loud now.
So
let
can
us
you hear us?
let us
One,
know,
two,
please.
Test.
Let's just continue doing this, and then we'll get some feedback. I hope. Yeah. So the to JSON stuff is an extension function,
Yeah.
and this is only available in my unit tests.
Okay.
That's
better. Let's go.
Too
loud. Turn down your volume.
I can do this.
Millennials.
Hang on. We'll do this. Yeah. Check. This should be better. Okay. There we go. This should be.
I
This
suppose
should be.
that you will be louder than me now because you're closer to that.
Yeah. We should switch places then. anyway, the 2JSON is a thing that is available in the REST API exposed interface, which all of my entities happen to be. And that's why we can do this. So I'll just do any object.
Yeah.
And
so do you think that with this object mapper, it's just gonna be like an object with like a JSON object with the fields and the let's say competitor name, your JSONification there is gonna be the same as the one of competitor.
Yeah, because we did copy paste it exactly. But
this is not gonna backfire at all. Okay.
But the thing is,
okay, yeah, no, makes sense. Let's see. Let's run a test. So
what we're doing actually in this test is
you're thinking too much. You just run code.
Okay, let's go.
Was our database already okay?
Yeah, shit. Good point. So we were fixing compilation errors before running that test. Let's fix some more. Which test is this actually? Oh, this is the competition test itself. Yeah.
So same issue.
Yes, because competitors are competitors.
Same issue, but on a different level. So we should use competitor.
Here we'll need name equals snarf.
So we don't care about it.
No.
Well, that's our compile. It's compiling.
It is compiling, but now we ran the the wrong test, I guess, right? Because
what's happening?
Wadu. It's
Expecting
it's an empty
clarity.
it's an empty list, and then yeah. Right now I remember. This is such a, this is the first time that I say this, but I don't like assert chase messages whenever you use a comparator. Whenever you specify it, because it'll say comparators used, and it's trying to be helpful, right? But I didn't use any of these. I was like, what? Double? What? Where is a double in the thing that I'm trying to compare, and there isn't a double.
Totally relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, it's only this.
So this is really just an implementation issue, because the post to the competition controller creating this thing. Where is the post API competition?
Are other tests running? Is that what you're saying? Or?
No, it's, hang on, huh? Which one is this? Post API with a competition ID, complete, and a challenge ID. So completing a challenge, I need to rename that thing actually. Yeah. So that's actually this thing, which doesn't have an implementation, so that's why the test is failing basically.
So these are currently in progress.
Yeah,
code.
Indeed. Okay. So we were running a competition integration test.
Yeah.
This one, to check whether whatever we did fixes the rest of the application again.
So the thing that you would expect is that all tests are green except for that one that we just ran.
Yeah.
Ish.
Still some shit wrong. No,
That's identity.
Yeah. And I'll just go and steal that crap. So there's probably gonna be other stuff that we missed. Yeah, the rest indeed. Competitor. Listing.
If it knows how to name and then just free.
Yeah. Let's rerun it. And it's green! Yay! Yeah. Alright, great. Let's run all of those tests. Or actually just all of the tests. Hopa! And then they should also all be green except the controller tests. So last time when I finished coding, I was really just rerunning the controller test and not all of them. But they run fast enough.
Right.
So this really deserves a commit, I think. And
fixed some tests.
Well, yeah, it's not fixed some tests. A competitor can now be persisted, which fixed tests.
Well, okay, whatever.
Right. Alright. That should be okay. Great. Now this means I can show you the application though, or it should mean that.
Yeah, because it starts.
Yeah. So what do you want? A little demo to get more context on what we're working on?
It's a good idea.
Okay, nice.
I still feel like there is a huge stack of things that we still need to get done. Like there's some things that I would like to see different, refactor or redesign maybe.
Yeah.
Or talk about, but I don't want to talk about right now because there's still tests that are
I read. Do you have some do you want?
I have post-its. I should have.
I also have post-its, but I like
one of those. Yeah, like these things are overflowing.
I've got the same drawers at my desk. Look at all these post-its.
And then there's
a pen, and then write your thoughts down.
Yeah.
So we don't forget.
All right. So you go on for half an hour, and then.
Okay, let's see. We've got Spring Boot application running. Our view thing is running as well. We don't need any. Okay. Will it load though? Oh, it does. Nice. Let me increase that for you guys. Okay, so this is the glorious Effet application. Yeah. Why is it called Effet? Because the original challenge was called Fuck It. And you had to yell fuck it every single time you completed the challenge. So let's say you just did crowd surfing, someone needed to be there and you needed to yell fuck it! Otherwise it wouldn't count.
So have you heard about the technology called voice recognition?
Yes.
I think you should implement this in your app.
Holy.
So it only registers when you really yell fuck it into your phone or something, or some phone picture.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, that's effing great.
That's effing great.
Just
the order is kind of arbitrary, but yeah, so it lists all of the challenges that we had in the Snowcase competition, which is very fun, as you can see. You can create a new challenge, you can give it a nickname, you can give it a description. Like, the reason why it's so shitty looking is because I'm really bad at UI. I preload the app.
Just Bootstrap. I will use Bootstrap. You should use Bootstrap.
It's not Bootstrap.
Yeah, but you should.
No. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. But it also preloads the application. So every time we rerun the application, it will create the challenges. It will create a competition, and it will add those challenges to this competition. And then you can also create a new competition and then select the challenges that you want, and then it will be created.
I just on page 4, 1 to 4 of 21.
Yeah. Okay. Well. And then we get toasts. That's what we did last time. I forget what I need to do to. If I were to create, and then the other thing I did is put the title in there. Why is that? And it would be more logical if it would be here, and it used to be there. But if you go to mobile, this makes way more sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I right? And it was also fun to do, so there we go. The about page is nothing. It's an about page.
It's a new challenge.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Then we go to a competition, and then when you click on this, you get to enter whoever completed the challenge. And then when you press submit, it'll go like, congrats to Vincent for completing the early bird challenge.
And that's what we're implementing now.
Yeah, and that's what we're implementing now. So right now it's also not allowing you to enter multiple competitors that finish the challenge, which usually also happens. So that's where we are right now.
As IDs, because I haven't seen the app. I like this. Pictures count as proof or witnesses.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a nice to have future thing, right?
Yeah.
Evidence would be cool also to later, like when you share everything with everyone.
It tells a story. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to reminisce about whatever happened there.
Yeah, and then like have this in locals. Like I'm imagining when you're doing this that you have like in local storage that you know like it's my phone, so I'm probably when I'm entering something it's probably for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know.
No, that's just like how Kitty Split works as well. Someone makes the Kitty Split, and then you list whoever is in your group basically, and then when somebody else opens that same page, it'll ask you, the user, okay, which one of these people are you? Yeah. And then it just remembers that for the rest of the application. So it's going to be local storage, but. Like I said before, all of that stuff is in my head somewhere, and what I should be doing is listing it in here.
Could be doing.
Could be doing, but then it's not that interesting. I should be doing that off screen, you know?
Yeah.
Right, so that's where we are right now. And we've got a failing controller test even. So that's this one. Let's just run them all. Doopy. All right. So we've got a couple of failing tests. Oh, and then also not implemented tests yet. Oh yeah, this is something I thought of as well when I was writing more tests for it. And I just wanted to list those cases just so I don't forget, right? Let's see. Let's just fix one of them. So whenever the competition that was in the URL wasn't found, then it should explode with here the 404, this competition ID doesn't exist yet. What I also have is a way to capture exceptions and transform them into JSON along with the HTTP response. So that's like a general catch-all handler, let's say, that just catches specific runtime exceptions and transforms them into status codes and messages. So I can just print them on the screen, that's it. And luckily for us, that handler also gets registered whenever we run these tests, because it's part of the MVC stuff that Spring Boot sets up for you. Right, so now this test is failing, and then we should probably go and implement returning a 404 whenever this thing couldn't be found. Yeah. So we've got our repository. Hey, hang on, because I think I even have the setup in my test. So this is, it's like an annoying bit, I'll tell you later. So in any case, this is the call I want to do according to my test setup. So let's perform that. Yeah, let's not call it mock, right? And that's gonna be just competition ID. So whenever this returns null, I should throw an exception. Yeah?
I suppose, yeah. One of the
something like this, maybe.
Entity not found. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good for both, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
So we don't have an optional happy path yet. So maybe we'll just write this in an if or something. If is null.
Can't you do dot if or dot not null or something? Can you commands go back a few times?
Yeah.
I see you adding brackets manually and things like that.
Dot if.
Fix. No, dot null or dot not null. Like dot nn. What does that do?
Yeah.
Or dot.
Yeah. It's
or dot null is also a thing for. Is that what you want to do?
Exactly. Thank you. This should actually fix the test already. Now we should have 2 failing tests. Correct?
Yes.
Oh, exciting. Exciting good. Oh. Hey, nice. This is the other 404, so so that's great if the competition gets found, but then it would also be great if the challenge got found as well. So this is a very weird situation. I wrote the test, but I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to end up in that situation. And why is that? Because the way I should implement that is just go, okay, if it's null, throw an exception, and otherwise we'll need this. So I'll just write something quick and dirty, yeah? Just to show you what I need to do. So this is the competition, whatever. And then the competition has challenges, and I need to check if my ID equals challenge ID. If there is no challenge that matches that was given here, I need to explode. But you could also reason, yeah, okay, but the UI will only ever be able to select a challenge ID that belongs to that competition because it's been set up like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not really sure if I should test it. You know?
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where you're. We tend to automatically create separate split our APIs from our front ends because it has some advantages front end wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that you should accept the responsibility then that you test your API not knowing about the UI if you do that.
Okay.
I mean, also you're gonna end up with bugs in your UI and things like that.
Yeah, but the bugs in the UI we won't fix with this test.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Or maybe indeed for like a project like this, it's not all that important. If you're doing it to learn anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen the shortcuts taken. So the UI can only do this, and then suddenly you need to start adding automated behavior or other clients or
The other thing you could reason about is if the challenge ID that you passed along with the REST API doesn't belong to the competition ID that you passed along, well then you did something horribly wrong, and then the coder doesn't even need to provide you with a decent error message for it. Because I have a catch-all thing, yeah, right? I have.
That the same argument could be made for the competition ID, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's definitely not a case where I would spend hours of my time on.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where just giving a clear message, like it will probably end up in logging also and things like that, and then it will help you at the runtime or when your app is also going wrong and you're drinking beer. It's like, what's going on? And then at least you'll have the proper error message.
Yeah, true.
Instead of just like a null pointer exception somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Kotlin, I don't know.
Yeah, it helps a programmer solve the problem that actually happened. Yeah, that's what you're investing time in with this.
And I feel current trends for me personally is like this is words maybe more down the line than tests. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's also interesting.
It highly depends, right? But just being able to quickly drill down on a problem at runtime and which will help you quickly recover the problem.
Yes. Yeah, it helps in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in a real life system, which is going to have problems anyway.
Yeah.
So
I have accepted that as well. Right. So let's implement it then, right?
Yeah.
Properly, I mean.
Yep.
Almost there. Yeah. I guess there's something is wrong here.
Well, exactly the thing that you need to fix.
Right. Well.
No, that's not true.
No, it's not true, yeah. Because this is just, I did my null check here, and then Kotlin is unable to know that I did that.
Well, technically, you didn't do your null check on the same thing, right? Kotlin can't know that this and this will return the same result.
Does it know that?
How could you know that a function call? I mean, unless it's a pure function, but it's not. It's a repository.
Oh yeah, holy shit.
Like technically, you could find it in your first call and not in your second time now.
It does know it.
No, it is.
Ah yeah, fucking hell! I keep forgetting that. Yeah. Let's just try and make it work first, I guess, and then rewrite it nicely because
Yeah, sure.
we can do nice let expressions and stuff and then map it because it needs to eventually be mapped. Does it? Yeah, I sort of yeah. Right, and then what's going on here? What? Oh, the binary. Wait, why is that?
I think equals is just same is implemented in terms of equals.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that actually.
Or it's not. What is the error you get when you? What error do you get now?
Ah, yeah.
That is even stricter than the other equals. So
yeah. So, what do I do with this thing actually? Because yeah, it is a UUID, so I either transform this into it. I think that's better, right? If I transform this into a UUID. Yeah.
It's like this could probably fail when it's not a UUID.
Yeah, and then it definitely should fail when it's not a UUID. Right, so that's the filter, and then when this thing is empty, then throw. Right? Can you immediately go like find first?
First your predicate.
Oh, you dog. When your language just helps you. I love that.
Technically, I would love it to be like the only.
What do you mean? Ah, yeah, not first. It yeah, does only exist.
Single element or something. But it's I don't know.
Oh, what?
That's one. It does.
Oh. Hey.
Does it do what I think it does?
Yeah, I don't actually know because it returns a single element matching the given or throws an exception. I don't think we want to do that because there is I want to specifically handle, but there was a or null. Yeah, and what we could do then is this. I guess I'm not really sure if it should be entity not found, but it should be something, I guess. Challenge.
Ah, yeah, because it's entity within the relation.
Yeah.
It's one.
I'm gonna get so much good feedback. Sweet. So I don't know about the message if I test that properly. I think I do, and then it's probably the wrong one. What is problem? Ah yeah, okay. In competition. Ooh, and then the competition ID.
It's actually.
Maybe this fixes it. Alright. Oh, okay. Nice. And then the final one, I guess, which is if we found the competition ID and we found the challenge within, then we need to add the competitor name that was passed along to the post. do or as
So
add it as a
kitty,
competitor.
so hyphen stream, kitty.
Meow. Oh my god, poor Nelson.
Do anything, kitty.
Hey Nelson. He's a good kitty. He's a good kitty, ain't it? Okay, yeah, let's try and. Oh.
What was the last? That's
So-
actually a positive case or something.
Yeah, the happy path. Noise, and then we'll do competition.
Did you get in a fight again?
The lips are bleeding. Poor kitty. With Momo then?
I don't think so. It's probably some other cats.
I did already have an add competitor function, so what we should do is make a competitor and don't touch the UUID, and then say your name should be competitor name. Oh shit! I need the or yeah, I need the parameter, not the competitor name. There we go.
Test. Run your test, you should.
Green.
All test, you should. Comment, you should.
Yes.
Oh, try that in UI, you should. Accept feedback, you should.
And then do some refactoring, we might. He's a good kitty.
Those two.
Yeah. Oh!
Give me two.
Kitty.
Oh, down here. Oops.
Kitty switches laps. Kitty is contemplating jumping off, parking its butt.
Getting in the way, yeah, that's
Getting
what
in
it
the
is.
way. Yeah, so all tests are green. I think
Commit.
we do commit. A competitor can now be added to an existing. Well, actually, yeah. A competitor can now be added to an existing competition when marking challenge completed, but right?
Competitor will be added.
Allee, when completing challenge. And now I hate this. I need to shorten my message. Okay, we don't need this. Competitor.
To a competition. Like it's obviously an existing competition.
Nice.
Ha!
Well done. Let's push. And then, in the end, we make a refactor, or do you want to first test or in the UI? I mean, it's impossible to test. Allee, that's not really true. We could add it and then look at the database to verify that the competitor was added. We could do that.
No.
I would do that if I really would believe that it's gonna help us gain more knowledge about the domain. Right now, I'd rather fix this. I mean, refactor it a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
So what do you want to?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, actually, I don't know. to me it makes a little bit more sense you if you put this stuff within this function call. Thoughts? Because right now what we're doing is we're trying to add a competitor just so that if it didn't exist, it gets added to the competition. But in the end, what we really want to do is mark that competitor as having completed that challenge. Yeah. So maybe it's too early to.
Yeah, it's very weird
to refactor.
This add competitor here.
Yeah, it's just a way to add it to a competition. Because it says complete challenge. We're adding a competitor. Like it's silly, yeah. Yeah.
What was the? So what test do you have for this? There's no test about challenges actually, right?
Yeah, here, that's where they are.
Yeah, which might be. I would not. Like I would first implement like the main. Like this is the main test case, right?
Yeah.
Give people score when they.
Yeah, but the problem I ran into was there aren't any people to give scores to.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
That's why.
But I wouldn't refactor too much before you have the main logic going on.
Yeah.
If you have no idea where you're going.
Okay, nice. We've got the same idea of this. Let's not refactor that yet.
Can we first talk about other things though?
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's see. First thing is about competitors. We have in competitor we have a .name fields.
Yes, I think. Yeah. Yes, we do.
Which is a string, and then we have a competitor name class. And I'm very confused about. Yeah. What?
Yeah. So the competitor name class is definitely inaptly named.
And you see these weird things going on, like name is competitor name dot name. Like, wow.
You're completely right. This thing, the competitor name, signifies. I'm looking for which screen to look at. Signifies this. So because this is called competitor name, the thing that's coming in the REST API endpoint is also called competitor name. Now, it doesn't need to be. This isn't necessarily the competitor name. It's more specifically the competitor name that you are going to mark as having completed this challenge. So if you read this thing in the context of completing a challenge, then it becomes a little bit more semantically correct. But then,
so is this something that you want to restrict naming wise to only this, or
yeah, I know what you mean. Because if you go here and you look at the package, it doesn't mean anything. It's because right here, within this context, it's just this is the class where a competitor name belongs.
Exactly.
But it's definitely not meant to be that way. So yeah, I definitely want to rename it somehow, but I don't really know how. The other thing I could do is just make this a string. Then it's untyped. So removing
or an alias for now.
Which should be an alias. The competitor name should be an alias for a string. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Which would make it reusable in your competitor class? Is that what you would want to do? Or
Yeah, if I want to do that, then this should become competitor. Because in the end, I want an actual competitor to be passed along there, and then I can reuse that thing to just get out the name and then basically copy it. And then maybe I don't need to copy it even. That would be better. Then this becomes.
But then we're back at the design where you have multiple calls, right? That's what we said in the start. Do you want this to be one?
It depends.
It depends on how you want to interact with this.
No, but the multiple calls would be done before you actually press the submit button. No? So what I was talking about before was, and I think that's fine, but before we were talking about transactional boundaries, in which we said, well, we could split this thing up into actually adding a competitor to a competition, then doing complete challenge with that ID. So that's already 2 REST API calls, but they both need to be executed when you press the submit button. The other thing we could do is with the type ahead idea. You type ahead in the text field and then you select or you add a new competitor. That happens when you don't press submit, it just happens in the background or behind other buttons. And then whenever you press submit, you will only perform this call. So, and then in that situation or that scenario, this API does make sense.
Well, in the first scenario, you would also have this API, no?
Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then like the weird thing here is so should that be? Oh, no, it's still weird.
You know what? Actually,
like this is a relation, right? That's what you're adding.
Yeah.
Ish.
Well, not in this REST API. I mean, I don't want it to be.
I mean, how you represent it is of course implementation detail, but you're talking about I have a challenge within a competition, and I already have a competitor, and so I now declare this competitor who have won this challenge. It already exists. It's a relation. I mean, I don't need to be a hibernate relation between entities or whatever. It is some view relation.
Yeah.
Or you're saying like, well, I have a challenge and I'm modifying a property of this challenge, is to say some competitor won it.
Yeah,
that sounds. The first thing sounds more like what we're doing here, no, or not? You were going to say the second thing.
Yeah, I was going to say the second thing. Because there's no. I don't see any added benefit to keeping whatever challenges that the competitor has completed. Maybe there is but one thing that I'm not seeing. Right, because what you're saying.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Okay, you say so, I don't see any value.
Hang on. So the value would be, I mean, specifically for the scenario or the feature that I want to implement, is I want to be able. The Y is missing in this thing. God damn it! Yeah, to have the points from the challenge added to their total. So this is already like an implementation hint, basically. I gave myself, because this implies that a competitor only has a total of points and nothing more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started thinking that way as well. I only need the total of points, so whenever you complete the challenge, you just get the total of points tallied to your total. That's it. But what you're
So
saying,
it sounds weird to me that you say
Yeah.
competitor only as like that you already decide right now.
Mhm.
Definitely in some kind of view,
Yeah,
a competitor would only be interested in the amount of points for a
Yeah.
competitor.
yeah, you lose information if you don't.
Yeah, but I can imagine that in other views or other ways of interacting with the system, like this might be an over design thing again, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
just-
yeah,
But under design is also
yeah,
also will be a problem.
indeed.
But so if you would say, well, a competitor is just a name with some points, I suppose that this suggests. Result in this competitor just a name to have the points from the chance added to their total.
We can do it incrementally, I think.
Yeah, we should be able to. Okay.
Yeah, maar it's a good suggestion. So this is stuff that I'm struggling with actually, because I also feel that it sort of feels natural to go like, okay, he completed this challenge, so let's just add it to his completed challenges thing, and then we can deduce whatever the total was,
Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily say do it all the way down to hibernate because indeed you're gonna have annoyances there maybe. But from a domain standpoint, it would make sense to me. Like you would be able. It is not unnatural to talk about as a person. Look, I have done that, and that. So it seems like
it's problem space that we're modeling in. Then.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yes, definitely.
keeping the challenges that a competitor completed, if it's not part of your problem, then don't model it, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just something to keep in the back of your mind, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing.
So wait, we've decided that we're not gonna keep the challenges that the competitor complete. Just the total points.
Yes, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Also keep in mind that it's not in production yet. So there's no migration to be thought of or anything like so
we're just discovering.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure because we changed here a little bit of code and I'm not sure that's okay.
Yeah, good point. We changed this, but we definitely need to get rid of the competitor name bit, I think. And I think I think we also came to the conclusion that this API is gonna work for both two API calls behind the submit button or two API calls in separate buttons or whatever. So maybe let's just do that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Tests should still work, and then we can get rid of competitor name.
Some tests will break, right? The ones that have
because
the compile time, the type checking.
Yeah. So that's gonna be here, or not.
Tests.
What? Wait, I really expected.
Compile.
I expected compilation errors.
Yes, me too.
No, I know why. It's because we do to JSON. It's not part of the signature. We don't directly call the controller function. It's through HTTP, so that's why. Yeah. So I think if we do some magic. It's this. And then we inline this. And then we get rid of this file. Then
okay, what did we change? James Broken.
Yeah,
His
because
name is.
damn it. Okay. Oh well, it was worth a shot, I guess. Also, there's no way to. Oh yeah, there is a way. There's no way. Really? I wanted to multi-cursor that shit. Okay, let's. Yeah. Doopy doop. I guess that works. Shit. So what was this commit? Are you live coding? I am.
Ah, he is.
Nice. We should take a picture of Vincent. How do you like this?
Do you have something to hide with?
You don't do that. It's fun to do stuff like this. Hey, green test.
Green test.
Boy! Got rid of gum. What's her name?
What is your?
Because Vincent told me to. No, why was it? Because it's confusing, eh?
Because it's not needed.
Because
and also confusing.
Unnecessary and confusing. Opa.
Unnecessary. Well, probably. No, that's not true. You can get rid of unnecessary things because they're not confusing. I think like it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, nee. You push.
You can get rid of unnecessary things because they are slow.
Did you have more feedback or?
Maybe this one is bigger. It's part of the way back at the start. You keep saying, well, there's challenge, and then you copy the challenge to challenge in a competition. That's so weird.
Yeah, it implies there's a difference, but
for me, these are totally different things. Like
yeah.
For me, this is like a prototypical challenge thing, and this is like it's completely different bounded context.
Keep in mind it's Crawdad, but
yes, sure. There's no such thing. I mean, it's another one of those things. Like it might work, it probably will work, but it also might cause problems because one of the things that we're implementing here is you're winning challenges, you're completing challenges in a competition, but you can't complete a challenge outside of a competition. Right? The way of interacting with this object is completely different from the way of interacting with the other object.
Yes.
You probably don't want. Like what happens if you change the point value of a challenge that is already in a competition? Do you want to be able to do that?
No.
Exactly. So, how are you gonna enforce those things?
Those rules.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's something to tackle right away, but it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And my intuition would be to maybe rename the original challenge to. I know it's a bit of a technical name, a challenge prototype or something like that. Prototype is not a good way, maybe. It's not necessarily a prototype, but I don't know.
It's like a non-contextual challenge, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like there for the. Why is it there in any case?
It's so that you can quickly add them to.
Yeah, but
to competition, I suppose.
yeah, but also there's like a reuse insinuation there, because if you look at the application now, so there's a bunch of challenges here, and I can add new challenges that are completely unrelated to the Snowcase competition from 2 years ago. So let's call this is the Twitch coding challenge or whatever.
Right. Bazillion points.
A bazillion points. It doesn't take E.
No.
Of course.
So bazillion would be
So this
1E17 or something. I don't know. Anyway,
this should be fine. And then some description.
It does take E, of course. It's also like.
Yeah.
Why would you want?
I don't want that.
Anyway.
Doesn't take D. No.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, and then the
E is for like 1E10.
Yeah. Well, it's not logical. I think it might even just be the number input type that allows that. Yeah, I don't have.
But you don't know what kind of library.
Then there's no library. It's just
takes
native. Yeah. So if I haven't Safari,
but you can put like boundaries on that. You can probably say like don't allow.
Also allows it.
Don't allow something with weird exponential.
Yeah, probably. Maybe negative. Yeah. That's another one. Wait, negative points
in your domain.
Yeah, negative points in my domain definitely make no sense, huh?
Well, if you can assign like negative challenges,
it would be penalties.
Yes,
but so what I was trying to say is there's now somewhere that.
You can also start imagining that there's going to be different ways of interacting with this, with different contexts maybe.
Yeah, but
eventually this will.
The thing I wanted to say is there is duplication. I mean, there's reuse in all of these challenges. We think, but in which scenario is there? Like, I think maybe the only scenario would be we did a competition last year for Snowcase. And we want to repeat all of the challenges from that competition. So, I mean,
total design.
Yeah, that's, like, not really. It's just an easy way to learn about stuff for me, I think. So I wasn't really thinking about design. I was just trying to get stuff to work, and I knew that I needed challenges. I knew that I needed competitions. So there we are. But we can definitely remove stuff. I mean, that would be better.
Maybe.
But so for now, let's keep it like this, and then maybe in the end, maybe we can remove the challenges, and then also the way to copy them whenever you create a competition. More feedback?
And the other thing that I'm not sure is a RESTful design thing. So challenges are part of a competition. No, the other, yes, challenges. Well, challenges in a competition
there we go.
are part of a competition.
Yes.
I was thinking it does make sense to identify them with the UUID, but I'm just not entirely sure what.
I think
from a RESTful kind of way, right? You have this container of the resource of competitions, which has sub resources of challenges. Like UUID does make sense. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure. Like when you use UUID, you might as well put challenge just on top level. There's no need to have it. It's uniquely identified, and then you have the entire. It's mostly with the entire thing. You're also like saying, well, it's a bit weird that we have to go into the challenges to get into the competition challenges. To see if it exists, it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, but then if you do a UUID, you need to check for the UUID of the challenge that it's in a competition. I guess
it relates to
exactly.
The other thing,
of
course. So if you would have like actually a resource of running challenges or whatever, Um,
Yeah, I agree.
which is a different design. I mean, I'm not sure. Just another way of looking at
Yeah. Yeah,
possible
like right
solution.
now, the it's sort of restful, but not really, because
Not RESTful is not also it's not super goal.
yeah,
I mean, it's come back to this.
that's why I
to
did
this
make the
trend,
pragmatic decision to not really adhere to RESTful completely,
Yeah.
because I think also RESTful doesn't really allow very well for action based or task based stuff, because you're posting actions
Mhm.
to a resource,
Mhm.
and then the action contained within defines which endpoint gets hit. Is that correct what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Like I have the rest in practice book on my shelf,
Oh, yeah.
which apparently doesn't help.
If it's on your shelf, it might not help. Eventually, well, yeah. Okay, nice. Let's see. So then we can continue.
Yeah, so these are just like things that you might face in the near future.
No, I really
Just
love
keep
the
it in mind.
insight about the challenge bit, because it never triggered me to question it again.
Hmm.
I knew I knew there was some issue with it, like they are different objects, let's say, and the challenges, and then the challenges you choose from. But
there's something like the design that you have right now is it's not it works great. I like it.
The other
so
thing,
I'm not saying you should do this. You should pull this further apart.
No, but it will.
When you get into trouble, it might be a way to think about it.
Yeah.
That's more of them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So our complete challenge REST API can add competitors now. You say that out loud. Like, what the hell? Now there's the question of. Oh, actually, we have a unit test for that.
How long are we going for now?
Yeah, good question.
Breaky time.
Yeah, you can. Let's just take a break then. Yeah, why not? How much time do you need a break, or do we need a break for?
I don't know. 5-10 minutes.
Okay, let's do 5-10 minutes then, and then
5 times 10 minutes.
No. So max 10 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See you in a bit. And we're back.
Back.
Starting, yeah. Now we're back.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back from our break. Yeah.
Let's add some business value.
Let's add some business value, man. Yeah. So the thing we need to do is add scores to a competitor that we just added. I think to do that we'll need a score on the competitor, maybe the total points or something.
Seems to make sense.
Total score. I already named it something.
Mm-hmm.
It can change, yeah. Do we want to add this just to this thing then?
Sure.
Total score.
Do you want to start it from the test, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Well,
like strict TDD, whatever. No.
Yeah, we could try it. Let's see. So I'll need a bunch of this stuff. This is already a bad sign when you're copy pasting this much. It's a lot of setup, I think. But all of this we need.
Yeah, you need
just to have a competition, a challenge that has points, and then eventually we'll post with Snarf. Snarf is a competitor.
Snarf is the best competitor.
So now, that's nice. What we could do is say total score equals 3. Correct?
Yep.
This makes it even more explicit.
Yep. It does. But it also makes it very, very clear that this is just your previous test and a little bit more.
Yes. Good point.
So these are definitely not autocomplete tests.
Yeah.
We might move to previous test bit, I don't know. It's the entire adding people to a competition was just a bootstrap anyway, right? Or scaffolding or
the other thing
might be interpreted as
we could test it like this as well. But then, yeah.
That's never gonna work.
That's never gonna work? No, because we're creating. Wait, are we? No, we're actually.
You're gonna need to get the snarf from your competition. I mean, it's a data class.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know. What's the difference?
It's immutable.
Is it?
It should not be.
I don't.
It's all false.
I'm not sure if yeah, okay, but I'll need to modify the thing somehow, right? Because does doing add total score?
You need to modify it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It does work. Fine.
Let's try and create it. Put it in competitor, but you see, not like this. See, what do I do now? Because this is not what I wanted. So do I revert this and then try again? I don't want an abstract property. I don't want a local variable. I don't want to rename. I just want
just to.
Maybe if you do it from here. Yeah, this is great. And then, and then default value 0. Okay, but I had default on the place where we introduced the new variable. Not default in the constructor thing. Okay. Okay, let's see if this fails. Should I? Yeah. Let's see. Another annoying thing is like I think these tests run really slow.
Is that because of Kotlin or Spring?
Spring, definitely Spring, because it does some setup for mock MVC and all that jazz. Okay, now what do I do?
Re-implement.
Yes.
Vector print dots total score is 3.
Yeah.
There's times to do that, but I don't know. Get the total score or what? Or from your...
Yeah, maybe just make a... how do you call it? Is it called tally score or something?
To do it.
To add stuff to the total score. So I could call it this. Add
awards
to total score. Award challenge points or something. I like that.
Do you just or competitor dot has completed challenge, which is more of an event starter? It's maybe not what you want.
I see what you mean. So instead of doing this,
that you would pass the challenge.
Yeah.
Or award points.
Yeah.
Is it better or not?
I have no real preference, honestly. And
you should.
Yeah, this was my initial thought, to just increase the total score with the score based on this, but then
from a point of view of the design you have currently, like competitor doesn't even know about challenges, right?
Yeah.
So then points would make more sense, and then it also makes sense that you don't even mention the word challenge in this thing, maybe.
Yeah. Agreed. This is a time when I'm struggling with my instincts and trying to lower, how do you call it, like I don't want to think too much about proper modeling. It's just something I'm trying to experiment.
That might work.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you really going to do 3 or are you just going to do the proper?
Yeah, and I need to have the challenge. Competitions.
Somewhere in those line of codes is a challenge, I think. Like single.
Yeah, this is the one. So what I could do. What should I do?
Then you kind of side effect map it to awards points.
Yeah, I could do.
But you should do it as competitive first. What's happening?
I could do this. Right? But then adding.
Is there one?
I don't know either. Yeah, because this is not compiled.
Thank you.
Points. Nothing? Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah, indeed. What's that called? Is it
units? What's the difference between root and not?
I have no idea. Oh. Okay. Why, thank you. I guess we'll create a test for that to I don't like. And now also in the test function generation, it also will make it an internal function. And then whenever you run it through IntelliJ, it will say, oh, I can't find any functions that are test methods. So something went wrong.
Okay.
Um,
Like you would expect IntelliJ to at least write a few tests with Kotlin, so they should.
yeah, I can't explain. Maybe it's correct, even. I just, maybe I'm running the things wrong or something.
Watch some more IntelliJ videocasts.
So this would be internal, and then this would also be internal, and then the name would be add. What was it? Add points.
Award points.
Award points should tally the given score, I guess, given points to the total. And then we'll make a competitor whose name is Snarf and whose total score is 0, I guess. And then we'll assign this to a variable. Put him in a box. Nobody puts Snarf in a box. Import this one, thank you. Competitor.
This is just JUnit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Are there like Kotlin specific unit testing libraries?
Yes.
That might be better or might not. I don't know.
Well,
they will probably not integrate well with Spring.
Yeah, exactly what I experienced actually. Is equal to 4, I guess, and then we'll need some non-zero test cases. So maybe like this, that they get added at least, because with 0. Now, let's just try run it and then see if it is able to run in the first place. It's not, see. It's JUnit vintage.
Why is it because of the internal that you're saying?
Yeah. So it works if I go like this. But seeing the JUnit vintage makes me think that it's not running with Jupyter at all. Yeah, that's also interesting. What am I missing here? Oh boy, it's been a while since. What? I know what I did. This is really annoying. Oh nee, what the hell? I thought I was using the wrong test annotation. What the flipping is it? Okay, now I don't know what's wrong. Is it in the incorrect package or something? No.
Does it need a capital, the first letter?
Seriously?
I don't know. I'm just like, see the difference.
Okay.
What do you do? How do you fix it?
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I just reran it and then.
Computers.
That's not very fun, is it? Yeah, it's 3, not 7. So
That should be easy to fix.
yeah, now we've got some issues because. Uh, can you do that? No, because cannot be reassigned. So here's where this the immutability comes in again. Do we want to make it the 4 then? Yeah. I guess.
Either you make it immutable or make it mutable.
Making, but then.
Do you see another way, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if I need to adhere to immutability for a competitor, then Hibernate is gonna freak out, and I don't want to deal with that. So now this is a 4.
It's Hibernate, and
Yeah.
if you make it an entity, then
Yeah, that's another thing we haven't.
I wonder though. Would there be an ORM library that would be able to deal with this? If you, because like you know that your objects will have identities.
Yeah,
so
I was also thinking that a bit, and the identity would be the same. Huh? So maybe maybe even Hibernate would recognize that it's still the same.
It still needs to be like a managed entity, right?
Yeah.
Because right now this object gets created by Hibernate.
Yeah.
Hibernate knows how and if you just start creating other objects, like somehow you need to.
But then you merge them, no? You use merge, and then Hibernate knows, okay, let me check if there's an ID or a competitor with this ID. Oh, there is. Okay, nice. I'll just update. But yeah, I don't know all that much.
It should be, like, it's definitely cross-functional. What I would say, should not be things you do manually, right? It should be library code.
Yeah.
Cross-cutting. It's not cross-cutting.
It's
gonna be everywhere.
Yeah. There is.
Okay, so this is great. That's not green. Other tests are green? No, or is that it's not great?
It's definitely not going to be green because we didn't provide a column for total score in the table, so that's it's gonna explode.
Then we should probably do that. Will it explode? Well, it should.
So I think if we just were to run this and one test, it's gonna fail already. I think, yeah. Yeah, because it's saving a competitor somewhere, I think. Nope, it just works. Maybe
it's even worse.
Yeah. Because like then we don't have an integration test that verifies that whenever you load a competition's competitors that the total scores are retained or even the names. So maybe we that's right. we just added the competitors in the controller, but then we didn't persist it even. And so
they don't get.
No, we're not even persisting the competition. And also we don't have what's the thing? The open session in view filter is also not a thing. So we need to, I think, manually save. Huh? Right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so, because my controller isn't transactional. Yeah.
So you're doing. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, of course.
So, fucking hell. Do we now make a competition integration test, and we modify that one, and we add a case that says Saving a competition also saves competitors or something. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know what I mean? Here, saving a competition with persistent challenges. I ran into this problem before, where your challenges need to exist before you save them to a competition. So I think.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Now I'm thinking about why this test is way below here. And I guess I'll leave it there. Test. Saving a competition with competitors or something. I don't know. Saves, also cascades. Also
Scopes.
I think so. Huh? Yeah. Well, I hope. And then.
Internal fun.
Oh yeah, the other day I thought maybe it's time to make some test builders or something, because most of the time I don't care about what my competition is, what name or what date or whatever it is.
Just like a competition.
Yeah, just give me a competition now. And now you can see it, like this test sets it up all over the place, but it's not that important really.
Yeah, so I would just I would do that in steps, right? Just extract the function inside this test and then see if you need to
Yeah.
to go further.
Let's try this test first, huh? Good?
Yep.
Okay.
So we need to add.
That's a competition, and then we'll just add a competitor with name snarf and points 0 total score. Damn. So writing points made me think about this total score and actual. Shit. Let's keep it this way. See how that feels for a while. If I keep on making the mistake of typing points, then okay, add competitor, and then we'll go to competition repository and do save Snowcase. I think, yeah, because this is already an existing. Maybe we need to flush though, so that it's definitely already persisted. Then doing this will break stuff, I think, or not. No, yeah, because I forget, like it's either after flush or after clear that this is no longer managed, and then you need
after clear.
Yeah.
Flush should not.
No, flush just to
state.
Yeah.
I think.
And then we do this, and then we should flush and clear, and then is that the thing or not? No. Clear. Yeah, I want to save using the repository.
Yeah.
And then I want to find the. But I don't have the primary. Actually, I do. No, let's try that. Find competitor class with this specific ID. And then this should not be null. And now I need to know for sure that find doesn't throw an exception. returns the found entity or null. Okay. 3 to 1. 3 to 1 explosions. Imagine if this just works. Okay. Now it's the error that I was expecting. Earlier expecting. So I think I'm gonna modify that SQL file. Like I don't want to add a column.
Sure.
Said he convincingly. Total score.
Are you in your tests with what actually? HSQL or?
That's a good question.
Well, I think so because right here
it's an in-memory. Yeah, it's H2 during test runs. So during test it runs versus an in-memory database H2, and then in at runtime it runs against the Postgres we've got running in Docker.
Yeah, like Liquibase or what is this? Might or
Flyway
might complain.
Yeah. So the moment I reboot this application, Liquibase is gonna whine. And hey, you modified the SQL. You shouldn't do that.
Does not match.
Yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah, it doesn't cascade competitors.
It's broken.
Huh? Do we want it to? That's the next question, I guess. Huh?
Maybe we don't want to.
Yeah. So
it does make sense if your competitors are like different entities.
That they get saved separately, you mean it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking like, does this sentence make sense? I completely agree with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I did the same thing with challenges as well.
But wasn't there a test case? Oh, yeah, it was test case says it does not.
Yeah, it needs to have persistent challenges. Yeah.
Then what's the test case going to be?
That it's able to. The test case would be that you can link saved competitors with the competition. Yeah, that's the test case gonna be. So we are gonna drop cascading then. Huh?
Oh.
Okay. Saving the competition with, so it will become persisted competitors. That works. And then we'll need to persist this beast. We don't have a repository for that yet, but I don't think
we just empty manager them.
Yeah. Because we lazy.
Yes.
Then we'll flush, and then we'll add it, and then we'll save, flush, and clear. Yeah, and then this is stupid because what I want to do is I want to find snow case.
Yeah, and let's see if we can find the competitor.
Yeah. Yep. So this is hopefully gonna return a competition, and then its competitors contains exactly snarf. Huh? What the hell, that dot looks weird. Let's see this work, baby. So I do like using the in-memory database because you don't get confronted with clearing the database and shit like that, so they can run all independently. So because we made it so that our competitor doesn't get cascaded whenever a competition gets saved, we need to manually persist competitors in our controller. Do you want to do that now, or I sort of was still in my head with this part because we didn't really fully think about this for me, like, because what happens if you add 0?
Okay.
Or what happens if you do negative? Oh, yeah, that's also.
I would first get the other thing working, I think. Like right now, your application is not in a workable state.
It runs.
Okay,
but
the
feature of
you're working on.
Yeah, but it wasn't been working before either, because we didn't save the competition. So are
all your tests running?
We can do
and
that.
The controller test mostly. I'm not sure.
I think it is running because
like, is this a point where you would commit or not? Because adding more checks to the or more safety or whatever to the logic deep down is fine and all, but
no, I agree.
Seems,
oh shit! So apparently this is not working anymore, but I don't actually know why. Should add given competitor name to competitions.
Well, should we say the competitor?
But that's like, why is it failing though? Scores. Ah, yeah, we implemented it already, yeah. That challenge.
Right, the challenge.
So this is, remember this one?
Yeah. So these are not very independent tests, right? Remember? you could compare ignoring score, but then.
What a facepalm moment that was. Anyway, yeah. What do we do? We accept the fact that they're not independent of each other and go like this, and then say, oh right, this is also add given competitor to competition, and I hit this, and that's or awards points. Score points. Well, a challenge has points, but score is, and we award points, eh?
Okay, yeah.
If you look at the competitor, yeah.
The award points and change the score.
Yeah.
Okay. Should add given award points. Awards.
Yeah. And then this needs to go. Huh? Goodbye. Let's rerun this. Oh no, I think I rerun all. Oh shucks. Yeah. Balls. Also, creating competitions scenario test. Maybe there should also be a scenario where we actually just pass a name to a completed challenge, and then it should do all the things. I'm not really sure. I'm sort of I have mixed feelings about that. Because we're already unit testing the controller test. The controller, that does all of that behavior or that performs that scenario. So all the tests are green now. And we haven't persisted the competitor before we add it. So what we need to do now is what exactly? This is the part that I don't like when unit testing controllers, because I now have to think in terms of mocks, because this is going to be something like competitor repository mock, and then it's like save this competitor, which is it, snarf, and then whenever that happens, do I want to do this, then return persisted snarf, and then verify that the persisted snarf gets the new points, or do I just do verify with a capture? Hola. Someone just followed me. So thank you for the follow, Pro121. Yeah.
You follow him, not me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that TDD wants to warn you against, I suppose.
Yeah. It's coupled to your implementation. Yeah. Wow. This is why I would want to write a scenario test, because it's indifferent of your implementation, even though you're testing the same thing.
So we need to save the snarf, right? That was the thing.
Saving the snarfs. This is always a good idea.
And you want this test to show that you need to do that?
Yeah. The problem lies, of course, within the fact that whenever we try to mark a challenge as completed, that there needs to be the fact that we need to make the effort of trying to persist the competitor if he doesn't exist already. So no, I mean,
so it's related to a thing that I wrote down.
Okay.
Because right now we have the API. I should add a given competitor to competition.
Yeah.
And the award points.
Yeah.
But what if you complete two challenges with the same competitor? Is that a thing? It seems like a thing.
You mean in one go, or what?
No, in 2 goes.
Yeah.
So 2 separate calls.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit the same API, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird that
you're always trying to persist a new competitor.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So in that sense, it also makes sense that you will write more tests or you will make a difference. One will already have the snarf, and the other one will not have the snarf, and the one will need to save the snarf, and the other will just need to rescue the snarf or reload the snarf.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it does make sense to mention the mocks here, or the repository, and the different interactions with it, because you will have multiple ways of interacting with these things.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
you're not there right now. Or
no, my but would be, but then we're not. Then we're no longer testing a unit. I think
that also makes sense.
For me, also thinking about this really makes me feel that we should have a separate endpoint for persisting a competitor.
Yeah. Like this design is going more towards these competitors as a resource on their own.
Yeah.
Maybe underneath.
Yeah, underneath the competition.
Yeah. but then you would still have your separate like post or competitor inputs. I don't know, post, I think.
Yeah, it's like adding a competitor to a competition. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, everything is like from the start we try to ignore the fact that we are implicitly adding competitors to a competition, and I feel like now it's hurting too much to keep doing it.
Huh? So we also maybe too soon. I'm not sure. It was when we were into hibernate lands that we were saying like, well, we need to make a separate entity out of competitors. Because you had a list of competitors in a challenge, or where was it?
No, in a competition then.
In competition.
Yeah.
In competition, yes. Yeah, because it was this test.
Yeah. So we had a problem with hibernate, and
then so we said, okay, to be able to save this, we need a competitor entity. All these are good choices, by the way. I'm not saying,
no, that's fine.
So once you make the entity, then it makes sense that it's separately managed, right? I mean, hibernate kind of, and I think correctly pushes you towards that direction. So the other direction you could have gone in, maybe, I'm not sure, it would probably be another world of hurt, is to just say like, well, it's not an entity. It doesn't live on its own. It's just, it's a property of a competition. You just have a list and you persist it as like a string and you add like, or whatever, there's always some kind of way.
There is embedded collection or something. Forget what those things are called.
There's going to be smarter people than me have thought about how to put it in a database. And then you just make it like basically a list of strings. And then it does make sense to add the responsibility to this code, because you can't create it on its own. It's always part of a competition by design. But right now it is by design. It's part of a competition, but it lives on its own. It doesn't live together with. Maybe the better way to put it is, it's always part of. Okay, our points right now. It's a thing that stands on its own. Like you can have a competitor that doesn't have points awarded.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't have if you make it part of the award points.
That's true.
Thing.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
You can go both directions, I think. But it does make sense to make it a different entity.
Yeah. Okay. But so we agree on that. Competitor is already a different entity.
Yeah, and then once you do that, then it makes sense that the life cycle is going to be should be coupled to this.
It should be split out, indeed. Yeah. So adding a competitor to a competition should be split from actually marking that a competitor did a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's a good insight, I think. And also I want to add that we really did our best to maintain that idea of we want to just add a competitor whenever it doesn't exist and it needs to get awarded some points. So I mean I think it's fine. Cool. So how do we go about doing this now? So because I want to sort of don't type this code anymore. But if you look at the implementation of competition controller of completing a challenge, this now only has code that adds a competitor. So what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna rename this, and then because this is really adding
a competitor.
Adding a competitor,
something in the codes. This pointers. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. We won't need a challenge ID even anymore then. Now, how do I go about doing this? I won't be breaking anything because I'm not even using this endpoint from my UI yet.
No.
So do I want to duplicate this so that I have the idea, or do I just start renaming and refactoring this? What would you do? And why?
My first intuition here is to duplicate. There are already a lot of outgoing changes right now, right?
I don't know yet. Let's see, local change. Yeah, a couple.
A few.
Yeah, this was to award points, but maybe we can revert all of this because that's the thing that we were trying to do. I think we should just revert, and then
like when
this we can keep.
Yeah. Okay. When I'm in a clean state, I don't care all that much. I just try something and revert and doesn't work.
Yeah, but
when it's like this funny thing, like I just need to do one more thing, but it could go totally wrong.
Yeah,
I tend to duplicate the how do you call it, two-phase or three-phase refactoring. It's like just add a new thing, move everything over, and then see if you can remove like every step you know whether you save or not.
I think. Oh shit!
Otherwise, you're removing things that you might still depend on, and it's like
we are offline apparently.
What? There was a network error. Maybe I'm offline.
No, I think also since this thing is red here.
What?
Ah ja, kijk, wifi is...
What? Maar hier ook.
Heb jij een limiet?
Ja, maar...
Upload limiet ook, of niet?
Upload, ik weet het niet. Maar ik kan me niet voorstellen... Het is Game of Thrones maand, dus misschien dat ik al niet zit. Normaal krijg je een mail van waar.
Maar dan zou
je geen aparte upload limiet.
Maar ook uw wifi zou niet plat gaan. Ja, voilà.
Het is niet met dat. Verwacht je dat ik iets oplos?
Uw router is zelfs gewoon weg, denk ik.
Nee, want ik heb hier nog de... Scherm meer?
Nee.
Wow. Ik heb nog... Waar is het internet zelfs niet van?
Nee, niet. Kijk.
Dat wel lang is.
Dat denk ik niet. Die no internet connection heb ik niet...
Can't connect to this network. Why? Misschien zijn we gehackt.
Dat kan ook. Er is wel zo'n ding dat ze dat proberen te DDoS'en, hè.
Ja, 2 kilometers.
Huh? Ja, ik weet dat niet, hè. Ah, ik zit er terug op. And we're back? Question mark?
Nothing? Question mark?
Jij zit er terug op, hè?
Nee.
Ah, can't connect.
Maar nu gaat het wel. Nu gaat nu alles terug. Still not hardware.
Welcome to the chat room.
Don't download questions. We are disconnected.
Oh.
You're yellow.
Yellow means you're still connected, but there are some issues.
There's some issues.
Ah ja, nee.
Zal ik eens tegen mijn router gaan stampen? Dat moet ik altijd doen.
Ja, ik weet niet of stampen gaat helpen, maar... Dat is wel weird, want ik zit nu wel gewoon op uw wifi. Zie? Ik ben echt wel geconnecteerd.
Ja, maar hier ook. Connected, maar met issues. No internet access.
Ah.
Misschien niet heel met uit.
In-
Gewoon, ja, zou je niet drukken. Maar...
Interesting. Point. Tegen
Het schuurt weer op uit.
Nee.
Wat?
Excuus. Hoe kan deze nou?
Telnet.be is niet op IP-adres 192.168.01.
Ah ja,
Dat is no way.
dat is een goed punt. What the fuck? Oh, Wadu? Wadu hack, wadu hack. Toons?
Wel 4 viewers.
Is het, maar is een,
Dat is misschien wel omdat dat jouw kant.
maar geen Martels live.
Ja, maar in guys.
Offline, oké.
Offline is het wel.
Oké.
Zo dan.
Ik ga
Eventually consistent zijn.
eerst stopstreamen.